Hello, Stefan.
Hi, Karen.
We're talking today about a topic that is, recently a lot on your mind, I would say.
Yes.
And that you wanted to talk to about, for the last few months. And I always said, why?
Yeah.
So the topic, is Generation Z.
Yes.
A generation that has a lot of question marks in my mind because I don't have a lot of touch points with them.
Yeah.
And they're a bit mysterious to me. They're
Yeah.
not yet in the workplace, at least that's how I feel it.
Yeah.
I don't see them so much.
Yeah.
Probably going to change in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Tell us about your fascination with this generation.
Yeah. So let's first define it. So Gen Z is born between 1997 and 2012. So today they are around 28 years old, and the youngest generation is about 13 years old. So we're talking about teenagers in their late 20s.
Early adults.
Early adults. When you go on campus, you see the style in clothing as well, right? People wear more lighter clothing. They wear, at the moment, a little bit of the 70s fashion, and then you have the millennials and boomers. They come with the shirt and a blue and button-up shirt, right? So there's a little bit of change in fashion on the workplace as well, what I observe, right?
Well, to me it seems like these people just came out of the Friends episodes that aired in the 90s. So it's
So for you it's more the 90s style, okay?
Yeah, for me it feels like a flashback, and I feel suddenly being old.
Yeah, that's true. And you said about the touch points, that's right. I mean, they're slowly coming into the workplace, and when I talk to my parents or in the family, everyone says, oh, Gen Z, they're very lazy. I don't agree with that. I just feel they need a better sense of purpose, and they don't agree to be part of the grind to be successful. And as you know, our mission is to turn the daily grind into daily joy. So maybe it's also interesting to talk about how will the new generation be impacted by this kind of workplace. So
why are they perceived as lazy in the first place? Is it because they're jumping from one thing to the next and ending stuff when it gets hard, saying, oh no, it's not my thing, I have to look somewhere else?
Could be. It's seriously, it's also another mindset of approaching work, in my view. Work is not the most important thing you have in life. You have also other perspectives in life, you have other aspects in life, and they prioritize this for the right reasons, right? So my touch points are more also on the private side, when I talk to people in cafes, etc. And either they are entrepreneurs, some are influencers, some own their own companies, right? Or they are part of a company and work for them, and then they work in a 9 to 5. So now the question is that bad? If you are part of a company and you work from 9 to 5 and you do the job well during 9 to 5, that should be completely fine, right? And there's always this example that...
Is it bad if they deliver what they promised and not over-deliver?
Yeah, exactly. And I just read yesterday that the millennials and the boomers, they were more educated to deliver more, to be more...
Go the extra mile.
If you work until 6 and 7 at night, that's a status symbol, you know? And maybe they're just a bit more aware that this is not the whole life.
Let me play devil's advocate here.
Yes, please.
I agree that work shouldn't be number one priority in your life. But between 20 and 30, these are your most formative years, I would say.
Yeah.
If you cannot lean into work and grind a bit there and work to get to the status that you want to have, when do you do it then? 30? When you have a family and not time for anything else?
That's the classical role model, yeah. But maybe they don't want a family in this place. But I agree with you, and also there's a few people who tell you in the 20s you should grind, you should go into work, and you should find what you're passionate about, what you're good at, etc. Right? So maybe it's really about finding a balance. to be honest. Yeah, and as leaders who will be leading the Generation Z, we need to be aware of this. And when you scroll through Instagram, and there's a few people who have now trainees working for them as in Gen Z, and they're very direct, for example, with their customers, etc. pp. So you know, like
really?
yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's this is really, it fascinates me that we are putting a line here again, say, oh, we're Generation Z, oh, we're millennials. Why don't we work together? Why don't we learn from each other? Like, maybe the millennials, they have been too focused on work for a lot of time, and the boomers have been for sure, right? But maybe the Gen Z is not focused enough. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, these are individuals, so they are not all the same.
No, of course.
But I find it interesting that you said they are really aware and conscious of their wording, and at the same time direct.
Yeah.
Oh, that must be hard for them. In my mind, it costs a lot of energy to do both of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a paradox, yeah.
So you need to be politically correct. You need to gender correctly, if you believe in that. You need to be also cautious. So I feel Generation Z is a very sensitive generation.
Okay.
So they grew up very caring, very cared about, and then there was a switch in COVID, during the COVID time, and I saw a few documentaries where teenagers started to go into social media more there, and they got distracted, and they're very connected in the digital world, but somehow feel lonely in the real world.
Okay.
Yeah. So I asked. I was in a bar, and there was two Gen Zs having a date, and they were sitting next to me, so I didn't want to disrupt them. But at some point, I looked over and asked, "Oh, you're having a date? That's very nice." And then the guy said, "I'm going for a smoke." No, and I was like, "Oh, I have a question, and please don't take me wrong, but why do you smoke?" And he said, "Yeah, because of the social aspect. Because I can go out, and I can talk to people, and I can socialize without having. I don't need a reason I'm smoking, so I can talk to people." I was like, "Okay, but you can do this as well without smoking, right?" So he's like, "No, I need." He's like, "Yeah, but then he threw it back at me and he said, "But yeah, you're drinking alcohol. It's also not healthy." I'm like,
so he assumed you were accusing him.
Yeah, but I corrected him, and it was a very nice conversation, and that was my interest. Is like, and this is not, I'm not the only one. I also saw a podcast with Simon Sinek and Esther Perel, and she said that the number one skill which Gen Z needs to learn is talking to strangers. Because when you go at work, you need to talk to strangers, and this is the skill you don't have when you're just in your phone. I'm not saying they're only in their phone, in general.
Yeah, but of course, I mean, they've grown up with it. It's the first generation that was growing up with smartphones around.
Yeah.
And that's their natural habitat, I would say. Yeah. That's where they're most comfortable.
But also there's trends that they go back, and you see this, just observe it in the streets. They use wired headphones because now it's fashionable, right?
Ooh.
Right? They take paper. Some of them have paper books. Why? Because it's not distracting, and it becomes a status symbol that you read a book. I saw this in the train. There was a guy, super fashionable, 70s or 90 years style. I cannot really judge, but he opened a book, and I really saw pride in him. Like, it was like the first 2 pages, like, oh, nice, he's reading a book. Then I also was reading my book. Yeah, so I looked at.
Was it a paper book as well?
It was a paper book. No. I was reading on the Kindle. But he looked into the book and was like, wow, it looks so nice. He's styled, and he looks into the book. So I read one chapter and I look back, and he was already on his phone again. So I was like, okay. So he tried the book, but it was maybe too boring, right?
Maybe he wanted to do a photo of how he was reading and post it.
No. I'm not judging this. Like, he was really focused on this, and he had it was beautiful. I could have taken a picture. What I'm saying is, like, the attention span is going down, or has gone down. And then if you take the example of the person who was smoking, when you smoke, also your receptors of the brain of dopamine get impacted. So dopamine plays a pivotal role here, right? So we have to do almost a dopamine detox, right? So now these people enter a workplace where they maybe are have a few people they need to talk about, need to talk to. They have Slack channels, etc. They go into the same kind of area where a lot of people are pulling in them. So now they need to prioritize how to do their work, right?
Yeah.
So it really fascinates me that, and we, when I say we, the millennials, we have grown up without a computer, right? And I don't say all of them do this, but there's even a podcast she's calling it Cafe Cringe, because whatever you do, like this word cringe, yeah, it means you're doing something which is not, I don't know, which is embarrassing. Which is embarrassing, but also who defines that, right? So if I'm doing something, it's maybe embarrassing or it's cringe, and the person says that to me, but maybe I'm completely comfortable with what I'm doing, right? And then on the flip side, what some of them trying to adapt now is the wired headphones, reading the book. We have done this when we were growing up, right? So why don't we learn from each other? So what I can learn from the Generation Z is be more conscious on how I speak, and be more focused on helping them or myself, or being more focused on the present. What they can learn from me is structure, maybe, I don't know, right? So it's a learning environment. Work environment should be a learning environment, from young to old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said in the beginning that they are following their passion and they need a purpose to be fully engaged. So I'm asking myself, okay, is it that they don't have energy and passion that they bring with it, or do they need the right environment to bring it in and to bloom and to be fully present and engaged?
And maybe I put it wrong, but do we always follow our passion? Is following our passion the right claim, or should we, as you said, follow what we like to do and create the environment, and by action going further towards following my passion? It's very broad. Huh? What's your passion?
My passion is, well, I love to go to work and then bring a smile to people's face, being able to help them. And in what I do, it's not always that it's fun and it's light. There are moments where you really have to stick to discipline, go through it. There are hard challenges, but I mean, that's passion. I mean, it is suffering if you take it literally.
Mm-hmm.
The passion of Christ, it was a big suffering.
It's true. Yeah. No, I feel this is also a definition thing, right? So when you look at Instagram, one person will say, follow your passion. And then it's like, okay, good, my passion, I love to do photography. I want to be a photographer. Perfect. Try to make a business out of it. Like, make some photos, get a client base. And so there's more to it than just following the passion. So it's also understanding behind it. So yeah, it's a good thing to follow the passion, but also, how do you know what your passion is if you don't try it out?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to stay the same. We are far away from having one job until we retire.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
So that, and maybe another thing I realized when watching documentation, but also talking to them, is they need structure. Like we need structure and a vision. So you mentioned, in their 30s you have their family. And maybe you don't have time for work so much, but is this really true? If everything is open from male, female, family perspective, if everything is open, they need to define it, right? So they give themselves the permission to define everything, but also this freedom has a cost because you have to decide. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always, as Jordan Peterson would say it, the struggle between balance and chaos.
Yeah.
And if you put all of it into the open, and you can decide wherever you want to do stuff.
Yeah.
So many options. How do you decide now? If you're lost, you're in chaos. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you find your role in society? How do you find?
Yeah.
And I talked to a woman, and because they were so she's so environmentally conscious, and after a couple of minutes in the conversation, she said, I don't even know what to do. Like, how do we stop the climate crisis? It's already there. What should I do? Where should I focus on? Like, it's such a big, like, if you're aware of some of these stuff, it becomes such a big problem and you cannot tackle it. It's the elephant in the room. So maybe starting a work where you go towards these goals can help.
Yeah. Do you think that's the media that makes us so hyper aware of the big challenges that you feel that you are alone responsible for rescuing the world?
Could be, yeah. Could be, because you see only the negative sides and you also see only what is very medial, like a wildfire or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's the alternative? Like not watching anything and stay, like not being conscious about it?
I think it comes back to the point about connecting with other people
Yeah.
and making an impact, because if you try to rescue the climate alone,
Yeah.
you will never be able to do it. But if you are able to rally people together and align them behind a cause, align them behind activities, then of course you can do much more impact.
Yeah.
Than if you would be the only ant alone.
So for example, there's a lot of talk about capitalism. Capitalism is bad. It's true, right? Capitalism is bad. But if you have this, if you want to do something against it, you need to specify against what. So do you want to do something against fast fashion? Do you want to do something for equality in the workplace? Do you want to do something for education? And then find like there's capitalism. It's a problem that we have a structure in our society that there's power play, right? But as one person, as you said, you cannot do anything about it. You have to find people with the same mindset and then work towards on something. And I always say, use the capitalism. So if you have,
I mean, what's the alternative to capitalism? It's communism. I wouldn't recommend that.
I don't know if socialism is an alternative to capitalism.
Oh, which is communism.
Which is communism, right? But I feel it's also not, it's too easy to say it's capitalism and say, how do we interact in the capitalism? Like,
yeah.
I have talked to the founder of Avocado Store in a call, and she also wrote the book about circular economy, and she said, every buying is a voting. Everything you buy is a voting. So if you buy fast fashion, it's a voting. If you buy cigarettes, it's a voting for the tobacco industry. The tobacco industry is bad. If you have a Spotify album, they are putting money into a military. So what is the alternative? You cannot use Spotify, or you can use a separate service. So your money, if you think of capitalism, or the word power you give, is how you can influence it.
Yeah.
Right? But also some people will maybe end up without a job if they have these values and they don't have the maturity to start something on their own. So if I'm a communication specialist and I don't want to work for a woman's brand, for example, I will not get a job, because maybe I don't like how women are stereotyped with makeup or whatever, and I take this as I need you see what I mean? Like, there's a balance. Like, we work for pharma. A lot of people say, oh, pharma is bad. They make people need to use their medicine. But what's the alternative not doing pharma?
Dying is the alternative if you don't have medicines.
Yeah, dying is the alternative. But that doesn't mean that if a company comes to us and says, we're doing nutrition, can you support us? And I can say, okay, I have 100% of my time, and I want to really support this nutrition company. I have to cut down. Maybe I have to cut down on my revenue, etc. But it's my purpose. Then I'm working for this, or I'm working for this company. So it's not 0-1. It's how do I design my life so I can align with these values. Sorry, I was rambling a lot now. I don't even know how we're talking. How long we're talking.
Yeah. Insights than I had before.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Stefan.
You're welcome.
Interesting. I'm really curious to see what happens if they really fully enter the workforce, these young people.
Yeah.
And which impact they're making.
And I want to put out a call of action to anyone who is in the process of hiring, who is a team lead, or who is a Gen Gen Z member in a workplace who is not happy, really call us, send us an email. We have a 1 hour call together. Maybe we can help. It's part of our mission to turn daily grind into daily joy, and this can be really something where we can also make an impact.
You mean translate between the generations?
Yeah. Translate, like there needs a lot of empathy, and non-judgment. And when you heard me talking, maybe disclaimer, it sounds like I'm generalizing and I'm judging a lot, but I'm just mirroring what I'm hearing. But I feel everyone's an individual, and everyone needs to be looked at as an individual.
All right, guys, book a breakfast session. You've heard it, you've seen it, you can see it on our website as well.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stefan.
That's the end of our episode. If you liked this, please like, share, and subscribe.